everybody, and welcome back to Newegg TV. I'm Steve, and today I'm going to do an overview on this Netgear product. This is an N300 Travel Router. It's called the Trek. All right, so a quick look at the front of the box. As you can see, the Trek is a travel router, but more importantly, it also has some other functionality built in. It's also a range extender, as well as it can act as a basic router, and there's some advantages to that, as well as it being a Wi-Fi bridge as well. So a couple different modes this particular router can be in, but I want to show you some of the security features here on the side. I'm just going to spin that around so you guys can take a close look at it. So security in general, it's got WPS if that's what you're into. You could use that to get things connected, as well as having firewall protection. It's got SPI as well as NAT firewall built in. That's kind of just going to help you out as any basic firewall or router can do. But aside from that, it also has denial of DOS service, I should say denial of service attacks, prevention, and you can set it up as a DMZ if you like to have completely and totally no connection protection whatsoever. Going down the list, we have some stuff inside the box that we're going to talk about, and finally down at the very bottom we have some system requirements. You guys can pause that and take a closer look at it if you'd like. I probably have the logo in the way, sorry about that, guys. But then we're going to flip it around to the back, finish off on a couple more features that I wanted to mention. Basically, because it's a travel router, you can take it with you on business trips and the like. There's going to be the ability to connect into Wi-Fi hotspots, as well as create your own Wi-Fi hotspot. But let's go ahead and open up the box and take a closer look. There's only really two accessories that comes in the box, guys. One is this micro USB to USB cable. You're going to use this to power the device. You can use it to power it via a computer. Obviously, there's also an outlet that comes built into it, but I'll show you that in just a moment. As well as some paperwork. They do provide for you this installation guide. A bit of information in here is actually really helpful. Here's how you set up the Wi-Fi range extender, but in general you have several different options in here that the pictographs are very nice and very helpful. And finally, here is the Trek itself. So it is very small, actually. It's probably about, I want to say it's, well, actually I have them right here, 3.39 inches by 3.31 by 1.3 inches. In millimeters, that's 86.5 by 86.2 by 32. The weight of this device is about 161 grams or 0.355 pounds, although I've never measured anything in 0.3 of a pound before. All the same, here it is, and it's got sort of a matte black finish here to the actual router itself. The antenna side, which is also doubles as a cover, is slightly glossy, I should say very glossy black, and you can rotate this antenna into 3 different positions, although this is probably the one that's going to give you the best possible connection, and then back down to the left side at 90 degrees. That also is a cover for the front, as I mentioned earlier. We have 4 different LEDs on the front: power, internet, Wi-Fi, and USB, letting you know when you have connectivity. Go ahead and close that. Flip it down to the top here. There's a little warning saying to turn the power off before plugging into an outlet. So just letting you know that you need to have this thing on off before you plug it in. Don't want to have a surge going through the electrical system inside. So we have one switch down at the bottom, turns it into wireless mode. Off obviously is the default in the center, and then wired. Therefore, it can get connected with an Ethernet cable, which I will show you guys in just one moment. Let me rip off some more of that plastic. Stuck to my fingers. Here's the actual outlet plug itself for an AC connection in the States. So it looks like this is probably removable, but you'd probably purchase one that actually had the proper outlet plug in the area that you live. Underneath that, I should say, there is a sticker giving you a bit more information. It's pretty tough to see, but all the basic information is there if you wanted to get connected into this router. You just got to go to www.routerlogin.net and make sure that you have admin as the admin name, as well as password as the password. Also, you're going to want to make sure that your DNS is set to get it directly from DHCP. If you have that set to anything else, then that routerlogin.net is likely not to work. Specific model number is shown here. That is PR2000. Moving right along, we do have the serial number here, as well as the MAC address in case you want to set that up to something very specific on your network. You're going to need that MAC address. SSID information's here, as well as the default password. Underneath that, we have a micro USB port, and that's going to be used to plug in this particular router to give it power from a computer if you don't intend on giving it power from an outlet. So moving along to another side, at the bottom it looks like here, there is a reset button here, resetting this router back to its original default configuration. Then we have a a LAN connection, or it could be WAN, depending on how you set this router up. WAN side, obviously, it would go from here out to either another router or to your cable modem or something like that. The LAN side, that's where you're going to connect your computer in, and that's the one you're going to have to use when you actually access this particular router and do the administration of it. A USB port here, keeping that in mind that you're going to need to plug in, or you might need to plug in other devices to it, and it'll actually provide power for those devices while it's connected via the AC plug. Almost forgot to mention too that these are both 10 100 megabit per second Ethernet ports, so keep that in mind. They're not gigabit, but that's okay. You should get plenty of throughput. Also, it's N300, so you shouldn't need gigabit anyways. So moving along from that, there's a couple different modes I talked about earlier that I wanted to mention a little bit more information about. As I said before, you can connect to public hotspots, say in a coffee shop or a cell phone store, for instance, with this device, as long as you're within the network range so that you can get connected via your Wi-Fi. And also keep in mind that Wi-Fi hotspots typically don't have any security built in for the user. This firewall, this product does actually offer basic firewall support, which is basically better than nothing, I suppose, so keep that in mind. Also, it's a Wi-Fi range extender, so if you needed to fill a gap in your current household to connect your Wi-Fi, I guess you could technically use this for that as well as it being able to act as a standard router, and you can take advantage of its portability in order to do that, take it with you on business trips. Last but not least, it's also capable of acting as a Wi-Fi bridge, which can potentially make Ethernet-only devices work as a Wi-Fi connection, as long as you're within range to your Wi-Fi router or the Wi-Fi router you want to get connected to. For example, you could use a smart TV that only has Ethernet capability to connect to the internet, and then use it to plug into this, set it up as a Wi-Fi bridge, and then you can connect to it wirelessly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up this overview of the Trek from Netgear. If you guys liked what you saw today, don't forget to click the like button, and if you haven't already done so, click subscribe to any of our various YouTube channels, and we will see you guys very soon.